In the medical system, you are going to come across a lot of nurses titles, some of which I will be discussing today, along with their average salary, education required, locations where they work, responsibilities, and of course, the Spanish translation for those titles.
Tune in as Interpret Your World's co-founder, Juan Prieto, talks about the highlights of his workday as a professional medical video remote interpreter. If you are aspiring to learn something new and gain insight into what the world of medical interpretation is really like, then you've come to the right place. Follow along as Juan talks not only about his success, but the daily challenges he has to overcome to become a better interpreter each and every day. This is Unwind Sessions with Juan Prieto.
Hello today and welcome this Thursday, September 16, 2021. And good morning, Alejandro. Let's get this awesome day started. We can do it. All right, and today I took a total of 28 sessions, 3 of which were audio sessions. I had a couple of video sessions where I was on hold. They were pretty good. All of the sessions today were less than an hour. There wasn't really that much highlights except for one thing. All right, so what was this highlight? So I answered the session and all of a sudden I see myself faced with a very large room. And it looked like a classroom, to be honest, like a college classroom. It was big, and then it had like all kinds of benches, or a school cafeteria. Could have been a school cafeteria. Well, no, a hospital cafeteria or something. I don't know, or it was a meeting room, something. But there were a lot of benches, and there were a lot of nurses, all of them looking at me, their eyes fixed on this bald person that they had on the iPad. So I answered the session and all of a sudden I am faced with that picture, and I say my greeting and then I ask, how would you like for me to proceed? Because of course I've never been in that situation. And then the lady just laughed and then she said, oh, don't worry, you're not gonna be a conference interpreter if that is what you're thinking. And I was like, yes, that is what I am thinking. I thank you. And she said, we are just doing some training for nurses to be using this new system. And they had me show all of the features from the system in the company that I work for, and then they had me give them some tips. One of the tips that I told them was, the longer your segments, the lower the accuracy of the interpreter, and the shorter the segments, the higher the accuracy. So remember that. And then I also told them to speak in first person, and that was all the tips that I gave them. Of course I showed them everything. It was very nice. It was something different, and I had to do a little demonstration of consecutive interpreting as well, just like 4 or 5 lines if I am not wrong, English and Spanish. So it was a pretty fun session, something out of the ordinary. It was pretty nice. Not an interpreting session, but a nice training session. And usually the training sessions are not that large, so this caught me by surprise. I was like, whoa. But I've had other training sessions where all of the staff are just surrounding the iPad, and it's the same thing. So it was something nice, something different today. And I want to remind you guys that we are posting those vocabulary practice videos on TikTok, on YouTube Shorts, and pretty soon on Kawaii. I am not sure about the date, but we will make sure that all of this... There's some moths flying in here. So I'm gonna make sure that all 3 of those platforms are covered so you can practice your vocabulary in your favorite platform, right? And remember that we are still accepting comments on MIP 21. We are trying to get that video to 100 likes. Once that video reaches 100 likes, we're gonna be giving we're gonna be choosing 2 comments at random, and the people who those comments belong to are gonna get exclusive links to MIP 22. We're gonna give them a chance to record their interpretations and send them over to us. So let's get to it, guys. I forgot to see how many likes we have on that video. Yesterday we had 41. We probably still have like around 40. I don't think we have more than 40, so plenty of time. Less than half, I mean a little bit more than half of the likes to go. We still have around more than 50, I'm pretty sure. So let's get to it, guys. Let's see who's gonna win that feedback, right? And also remember that we have a Patreon page for as little as just $1. You help motivate us to create much more content, and we give you access to everything in that page. All of the medical practice videos ad-free, scripts, answer sheets, vocabulary lists, and much more content. And most importantly, you will forever win a place inside of our heart. So having said that, let's get started. So today I am going to be talking about 16 titles, 16 different nurses titles. Like I said in the opening, I'm gonna be giving you all of that information. So, that's not gonna work. All right, yeah, it is. So let's get started. All right, so for nursing title number one, this is a certified nurse assistant or CNA, and this is an yeah, that's gonna be hard. All right, now I can do it, right? I like a challenge. Oh man, what's going on? All right, so it's because I'm not able to see this and read at the same time. So this is an asistente de enfermería certificada. All right, and I gotta go back to this. So what is a CNA? The responsibilities of a CNA are to monitor vital signs, bathe and dress patients, and assist with their repositioning and walking. All right, what locations do they work at? They work at nursing care facilities, hospitals, and long-term care facilities. The education they require are state-approved education programs and on-the-job training. Their average salary is $30,850 a year. So, whoa, that is some good money, right? I'm in Mexico, by the way. Might not be good money where you're at, but good money for me. I wish I was making that money. All right, and so pretty much a certified nursing assistant is a nurse that is certified in all of the assistive natures of the job. She is not a nurse. She's an assistant to the nurse, and she will go into the rooms periodically to just help out with the patient's needs, right? Like it says here, they're gonna monitor their vital signs, they're gonna bathe them, they're gonna dress them, they're gonna assist them with their repositioning and walking. So that is what a CNA does. They're pretty much not nurses, they are the assistant of the nurse to help care for patients. All right. And let's get to number 2 on that list. Number 2 is a licensed practical nurse, and the Spanish translation is a enfermera. Where is it? Enfermera. I forgot to put the D, but it's supposed to be enfermera de práctica titulada. And another one for this is licensed vocational nurse and enfermera vocacional titulada. All right, and what are their responsibilities? So their responsibilities are to change bandages, monitor blood pressure, collect blood and urine samples, and address patients' concerns to RNs and doctors. Their locations: they work in nursing care facilities, hospitals, physicians' offices, and home health care. And the education required is a certificate, diploma in an approved educational program, often found in technical schools and community colleges. All right, and the average salary for that is $48,820. So they are nurses, but they assist also, or well, not assist, right? Because they're not assistants. They have their own job, right? But they are not like a certified nurse, right? They are nurses, but they are not nurses that are certified. Okay, so they count as a nurse, but not a certified nurse. And we are going to be seeing what is the difference between a licensed practical nurse or a licensed vocational nurse and a registered nurse. All right, so pretty much they are able to change the bandages, monitor the blood pressure, collect blood and urine samples. So they do all of this care for the patient, right? And those are things that, for example, CNA is not able to do. Let's get to number 3. 3 is where is it? Here it is. Registered nurse, or RN, and in Spanish is enfermera certificada. So the responsibilities for an RN are assess patients, administer medications and treatments, assist in diagnostic testing, and provide emotional support and health education to patients and their families. Their locations: they work in hospitals, ambulatory care services, nursing care facilities. And their education: they need an associate's degree in nursing or a bachelor's of science in nursing. So they require college education, which is different from the other nurses from the CNA or the LPN or LVN, right? For example, the CNA just needs a program, right, from the state. LPN and LVNs, they do need certificates and diploma from community colleges, but not a bachelor's degree or an associate's degree like an RN. All right, and what do they make? They make $75,330. So that is more than half of a certified nurse assistant. So they are good. They are like the main nurses, right? They're the nurses that give the patients medications. They're the nurses that go into the room and draw blood. Yeah, right. No, that was actually the LVN. These ones, they provide assist in diagnostic testing. So yeah, they probably do some of that as well. I'm pretty sure they are knowledgeable in taking blood, right? Diagnostic testing and all of that. So that is an RN. Right? That's like a real nurse right there. The other ones are called nurses as well. No, nurse assistant, right? And the other one is a nurse, but she's just practical, right? Not a nurse with a high degree, we could say. Number 4. Okay, I need to press over here. Number 4. Advanced practice. Ooh, I lost it. Advanced practice registered nurse. And this is an APRN. And this is enfermera certificada de prácticas avanzadas. So what is an advanced practice registered nurse? So her responsibilities are to diagnose patients, manage treatments, order tests, and prescribe medications. They work in physicians' offices, hospitals, outpatient care centers, and they need a Master of Science in Nursing. So they have a master's degree, so they That's why advanced practice, right? So they need to have a bachelor's and of course their master's to become an advanced practice registered nurse. And as you can see, they can diagnose patients, they can manage treatments, which the registered nurse is not able to do. The registered nurse can help in diagnosing and do the testing and all of that stuff, but an advanced practice registered nurse can actually diagnose patients and manage treatments and order tests and prescribe medication. So kind of like a doctor, but this is a nurse, okay? Very different from a doctor. Similar, not the same. And then we go to number 5. Number 5 is a clinical nurse specialist. Yes. And I didn't. Oh, why didn't I write that down? Where was it? Clinical nurse specialist. Enfermera clínica especializada. Okay, let me just write it here very quick. Enfermera clínica especializada. And I'm sorry, this is not going to be that great, but there you go. Enfermera clínica especializada. And what are their responsibilities? Clinical nurse specialist. Clinical nurse specialist. Here, there we go. All right, so her responsibilities are to improve patient care plans by working with social workers, doctors, nurse specialists, and pharmacists, and occasionally provide bedside care to patients. Their education required is an MSN, which is a Master of Science in Nursing, and they don't say where they work, but their average salary is $109,054. So whoa, yeah, that is a lot. And well, from here, I don't have that much experience with what a clinical nurse specialist does, but reading from here, well, they work with everyone, right? From social workers to pharmacists to doctors, to make sure that the patient's care is the best or it can be improved if that is the case. So they are holding a master's degree, which that's pretty awesome, right? And number 6, nurse practitioner, and this is enfermera especializada. And the responsibilities for her is to examine patients, diagnose, or for this position, right? Not necessarily a her, it can be a her or a him. Examine patients, diagnose health problems, analyze test results, and administer medicine and treatment. So the location, they work at physicians' offices or hospitals. Education required, an MSN, which we already stated is a Master's in Science of Nursing, or right? Master of Science in Nursing. Yes. All right. And they make about $111,680. So about the same as a clinical nurse specialist, but nurse practitioner, this I know that they can give medicine and treatments, and they can examine patients. Sometimes whenever a doctor is not available or they are overstaffed, they will ask if the patient wants to see the nurse practitioner, and they will allow the nurse practitioner to just look at the patient and then examine them and diagnose their health problems as well. So kind of like a doctor, but more focused on nursing, right? And I'm sorry, I lost my train of thought. Registered nurse, no. A nurse practitioner is is able to work as kind of like a doctor in like rural settings, and also a PA, which is a physician's assistant. Physician's assistant is an asociado médico, but that is much higher title than a nurse practitioner. All right, but they are kind of similar, except their training is way different. One is more focused as a medical doctor, and the other one is more focused in nursing. All right, there is difference in that. And let's see, number 7, nurse, educator, and educadora, enfermera. So, or I'm sorry, educadora, enfermera, enfermera, educadora. So, what are their responsibilities? Their responsibilities are to develop continuing education programs, facilitate training, provide educational resources to staff, and design educational initiatives to improve patient care. Their location is academic settings, clinics, and hospitals. And their required education is an MSN or a Doctor of Nursing Practice, DNP. Their average salary is $100,968. And a nurse educator is like a diabetes educator. They have to have all of these titles to be able to do this job, right? To carry that title. And they are people that create programs and just stuff to improve patients' lives, right? And to educate them, and not limited just to patients, but also to improve procedures or programs for everyone in a hospital setting, the whole staff in the hospital or a clinic, right? So that is what a nurse educator is. And I am going to have to stop the video because okay, so I'm gonna stop the video because as you see, this is already all filled up, and this is a list of 16 nurse titles, so I will be back right now. Alright, so let's continue with the rest of the list. We have number 8 right here, which is Health Informatics Nurse Specialist. And in Spanish is Enfermera Especialista en Informática Médica. Alright, so let's see what her responsibilities are, what the title's responsibilities are. They have to maintain medical hardware and software, train medical staff, and ensure that electronic documentation meets accreditation, and review organization. Their locations, they work in Information Systems Department of Healthcare Organizations. Their education requirement, BDN, Masters in Health Informatics, Healthcare Management, or Quality Management preferred. Their average salary is $90,990. So they are pretty much the nurses that are in charge of the IT, right? The information technologies inside of the hospital. So they have to make sure that everything in the hospital is working well, hardware and software. They need to train all of the medical staff on how to use that hardware and all of the software, and they have to make sure that all of the electronic and informatic systems in that in the hospital or in the facility are working awesome and are just on point, doing everything they're supposed to, and nothing is wrong. They have to update all of the software and stuff as well. So very important for hospitals now, right? We're all technological, and we really do require people that are specialized in informatics, right? And of course, not only do they need to be specialized in informatics, but in health informatics, so they could do a better job. All right, so it's like two careers merged together pretty much. Number 9, nurse case manager. I do have a lot of experience to tell you about this. Enfermera administradora de casos. All right, so what are their responsibilities? Work with patients, medical staff, and insurance providers to find the most cost-effective care plan, monitor progress, evaluate care, and suggest alternative treatments. All right, so their education required is a BSN. They can work in hospitals, nursing homes, industrial environments. Their average salary is 64,689. So as you can see, they only need a bachelor's, and that is why their salary is lower compared to all of these nurses that actually all of these other very specialized nursing jobs that require masters, right? So a nurse case manager, from my experience, is a nurse that is in charge of the case of the patient. For example, there are nurse case managers for patients that have workers' comp, right? They got injured on the job. So it is the job of the nurse case manager to make sure and to call the patient to see how the patient is doing, to see if he's been going to all of his appointments, to see if he can buy all of the medication, or if the workers' comp insurance is, why am I going like this? I don't know. Workers' comp insurance, because of the call, right? Oh, I got stuck on that. So because of the, just to make sure that the patient's treatment is going well, she takes care of the patient's case, and she probably has a lot of patients' cases to follow, and she usually follows up on the patients sometimes on a weekly basis, sometimes on a monthly basis, but she's always there on top of the patient's case, making sure that everything is going well and in the best way that can be for the patient and for the medical staff, right? Number 10. This is, oh, I need to go over here. Hold on. Number 10. Here we go. Critical where is it? Critical case register nurse, and I just wrote RN because I wouldn't be able to fit everything else. But this is, and this enfermera certificada, that's just abbreviations. Go look at the first three definitions, and you will see how to write that. Okay. So it's enfermera certificada de cuidados intensos, de cuidado intensivo. I'm sorry. De cuidado. Where is it? I lost it. Right here. De cuidado intensivo. Enfermera certificada de cuidado intensivo. Alright, and we can pretty much guess what they do, right? But let's see. So they provide complex care to those with serious illnesses or injuries. That's exactly what I was thinking. So they work in intensive care units and specialty hospitals. They need a bachelor's in science of nursing or in nursing. I can't remember what that was. They make $78,000 a year. So you can guess why they get paid so much, right? They are working with patients that have a very high probability of dying. So they need to have all of this knowledge, and they need to be acting quickly, and they need to be right there on that patient or on the patients on the floor all the time, just taking care of them, making sure they have all of their needs met and they don't die. So definitely 78,000 seems like a little bit of money to me. I wouldn't work for that. I'll just get a bachelor's and be health. No, what was the best one? The high. I'll just get a bachelor's and master's and become an advanced practice registered nurse, right? Of course, the more pay, the more responsibilities. So I don't know. I don't think I would ever be a nurse. That is just too much responsibility for me. All right, and let's go to number 11. All right, number 11. Where is it? It's surgical assistant registered nurse, and this is enfermera certificada en asistencia quirúrgica. So you can pretty much guess, right, what this nurse does. They assist surgeons during procedures and care for patients before, during, and after surgery. They work in hospitals. They need an ADN or a BSN is preferred. And the average salary is $99,400. So they are assistants. They don't necessarily need bachelor's, right? They just need an associate's. But they get paid pretty well, and of course, I mean, they're assisting the doctor. Imagine if the doctor tells them, "Pass me the scalpel," well, scalpel. How to say it? Scalpel. Scalpel. I'm pretty sure it's scalpel. Pass me the scalpel, and then the lady gives her some tweezers, right? Why am I saying ladies? Well, it's just that nurse has a very enfermera, right, connotation for women. So I'm sorry if I'm saying women. That's just the wiring up here in my brain. But I do. But I mean, there's enfermeros too, right? Male nurses and female nurses. So I'm sorry if I'm just sticking to the female gender. But I mean, that's just like it's probably hardwired to do that. Besides, I need to pick a gender, right? Or not. Well, it's just that in English, nurse goes both ways, but in Spanish, it's either an enfermero or an enfermera, right? So yeah, that is a surgical assistant registered nurse. Let's move on to number 12. Number 12 is a home care registered nurse, and this is an enfermera certificada en cuidado en el hogar. So let's go to the responsibilities. What do these nurses do? They prepare equipment, change dressings, administer medications, and monitor conditions. Their locations: they work at patients' home. They need an ADN or a BSN, and their average salary is $51,900. So this, as the name suggests, home care. These are the nurses that go visit patients pretty much when they have been discharged, but they do need home care. For example, wound care, right? And there's wound care nurses that are just specialized in wound care. But these ones are home care, so they can go to the home and care for patients, whatever needs that they might have at their home after being discharged for the most part. So number 13. And number 13 is number 13. Emergency room registered nurse. And this is an enfermera certificada en sala de emergencia. So these are like pretty much self-explanatory, right? So what does an emergency room registered nurse do? She performs triage upon patient arrival, determines order of treatment, conduct examinations, record patient histories, monitor patient's progress, and consult with supervising physicians. So they do quite a lot. Where do they work? You guessed it, in the emergency room. They need an ADN or a BSN. Their average salary, $77,400. That's pretty good. That's pretty good, right? So these are the nurses. As soon as you show up into the emergency room and you are registered, they are the nurses that you go to first. They ask you your symptoms. They triage you. If you're not familiar with what triage means assessing the patient with their symptoms and their condition to see their ranking in their priority for treatment or emergency for treatment, right? For example, if a patient walks into the emergency room and he's missing his whole arm, and another patient walks into the emergency room and he is probably walking in a wheelchair because he's so dizzy that he cannot get up on the wheelchair, they are going to assess both patients. And for the most part, I'm thinking, I'm not an emergency room registered nurse, so I could probably be talking out of my ass here, but I am guessing that the patient without an arm is going to get more priority than the patient who is just dizzy, right? That's just me. I don't know. But just to give you guys an example, right? Or if a patient goes in with a gunshot wound, right, and a patient is there for severe diarrhea, they will probably just say, all right, this patient with severe diarrhea needs some IV fluids and something, so he no, not that. It's severe IV fluids, and then we'll just wait. And then the gunshot wound, he needs to be treated right now. So kind of like that, all right? I hope that makes sense, and I was able to give you a good explanation of what that is. And I mean, every day, I guarantee you, if you are a VRI or an OPI, you are going to have to deal or help an emergency room RN for sure. All right, number 14 is labor and delivery. Oh no, that's not it. Labor and delivery nurse. This is enfermera de labor y parto, and I'm lost. This is that I'm not able to see it that well. All right, enfermera de labor y parto, right? No, right here. I'm not able to see it that well. Enfermera de labor y parto. So, what do they do? Can you guess? Assist mothers through labor and delivery, perform cognitive tests on newborn babies, help parents select a plan of care, and assist the post-delivery care of both mother and child. They work in hospitals, private care facilities. They require an ADN or a BSN. Their average salary is $74,700. All right, so as you can pretty much see from their responsibilities, they are the nurses that are in the labor and delivery unit. There are the nurses that take care of the newborn children. They perform the tests to make sure that the child is well. They assist the mothers with whatever the child might need, whatever the mother might need as well, right? Not necessarily taking care of the mother, because the mother might have her own nurse, but they will do so if they are required to do so. All right, so they are, for the most part, in almost all hospitals, labor and delivery nurses have a pink badge. I don't think I've ever had another labor and delivery unit that doesn't use a pink badge for labor and delivery units. This video is going to be quite long, but I only have two more nurses titles to share with you, and the next one is a clinical nurse supervisor, and this is an enfermera clínica supervisora. And what do they do? So a clinical nurse supervisor supervises nursing staff, schedule hours, hand out patient assignments, complete performance evaluations. The locations: they work in hospital, long-term care facilities. They can have ADN, BSN, or MSN. The average salary is $74,391. Wow, I would believe that they made more, right? They're supervising the whole team. Wow. And they can even have a master's and still, well, I'm pretty sure if they have a master's, they make more money, right? So yeah, just like the name says, they are the nurses that are supervising that everything, all of the nurses stuff is working well, and that they're treating the patients correctly. They are doing everything that they need to take care of the patients. So she is going to be the big nurse boss, right? She is going to be the nurse that makes sure that the hospital is that the nursing staff is working as a well-oiled machine, right? And for the last title, this is an oncology RN, oncology registered nurse, enfermera certificada en oncología. So their responsibilities are to provide for patients undergoing treatment for cancer or patients who are at risk of developing cancer, administer medications, and closely monitor patient conditions. Their education is a BSN, average salary $77,520. So pretty good, right? So they are just oncology. They see only oncology patients, so patients that are getting treated for cancer, so like radiation treatments, right? And what's the other? I forgot. Chemotherapy. So, or any other treatment, these are the nurses that take care of those patients, all right, or patients that are at risk of developing cancer. So that is it. I hope you guys learned a lot from this list of 16 nurse titles. There are some other titles that I wish this list had, but it doesn't. Maybe I will be doing another video. I don't know, I'll have to look at it, but I feel that there are a lot of other nurses that were not represented, so I'll have to see if I can at least get 10 other nurse titles, and I'll do another video. If not, I'll just mix them in on other videos. So that is going to be pretty much it for me today, guys. Please leave your questions in the comments and I will answer some of them on the next session. Remember that if anything is time sensitive, let me know and I can get to that video before the rest of the queue. Also, I stopped mentioning this, but if you have 2 years of medical interpretation practice and you live in the United States, Mexico, or Costa Rica and are looking for employment in either VRI or OPI, send us an email, interpretyourworld@gmail.com. I'm gonna be posting that in the comments so we can help you in getting some employment. By the way, this is a third-party company, and if you send us an email, I'll send you all of the good stuff and details. So remember that I'll be here every Monday through Friday after work. And remember that we love all of our Patreons. We love everyone that has bought us a coffee. We love all of our subscribers, and we love you that is watching the end of this video, and of course we love all of our viewers. So thank you so much for watching. Please like and subscribe if you liked the video and have not done so for much more content, and don't forget to share. Happy interpreting. Goodbye.
Thanks for listening to this episode of Unwind Sessions. Make sure to subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you listen to your favorite shows. And if you learned something new today, it'd be great if you left us a review. You can also visit us on patreon.com/interpretyourworld or visit our website, interpretyourworld.com. Unwind Sessions.
If you like this video, don't forget to smash that like button. Also, share this video with other beginner interpreters or anyone who can benefit from this information. Thank you all so much for all the support you guys have given us. This means the world to us. Don't forget, we also have social media. We have a Facebook group and a Facebook page. We also have an Instagram and the one I love the most, TikTok. We just recently got a Buy Me a Coffee, and also, if you guys didn't already know, we do have a Patreon account. If you guys would like to support us a little more, we'd love to have you guys over there. And as always, I will be posting all the links to these pages down below in the description box. Thanks for watching!